Let's be honest, whenever something looks different, people's first reaction is almost always the same. That thing must be unsafe. And that's exactly what happens every time someone sees the Aptera for the first time. They see its futuristic shape, its ultra-aerodynamic design, and immediately assume it's too light, too weird, must be a death trap. But here's the thing. Most of those assumptions come from not understanding why the Aptera looks the way it does. It's not designed to look unusual for the sake of attention. It's designed to optimize safety, efficiency, and strength in ways most traditional cars never could. So today, let's break this down, not through hype or speculation, but through logic, physics, and real engineering principles that show how deeply safety is woven into Aptera's DNA. Just like Tesla in its early days, Aptera faces the same kind of criticism. It's different, so it must be dangerous. What most people don't realize is that the car's aerodynamic shape, which looks small and spaceship-like, actually makes it wider than many pickup trucks, thanks to those extended side-mounted wheels. In fact, if you strip away the optical illusion, the main body size of the Aptera is roughly equivalent to a Tesla Model 3. The difference is in how it uses space. It's not bloated with unnecessary mass. Every curve, every inch serves a purpose: to maximize aerodynamics and minimize drag, while keeping you safe inside a carbon fiber cocoon. People often equate big with safe. But safety isn't just about how heavy your vehicle is. It's about how intelligently it handles energy during a collision. Let's rethink how we define safe. There isn't a universal safety score that applies to all cars equally. Real safety depends on what kind of crash you're in, and that's where most people misunderstand the Aptera. For example, rear-end collisions are the most common type of car accident, not head-on crashes. Collisions with fixed objects like trees, poles, or walls tend to be far deadlier than vehicle-to-vehicle accidents, especially for heavier cars. Why? Because in a collision with a stationary object, the more mass you have, the greater the kinetic energy you carry into the crash. Heavier vehicles absorb more impact force simply because they're moving more weight. That means the very thing people assume makes you safer, a heavy car, can actually work against you in certain crash scenarios. So when someone says, "But the Aptera is too light, it'll get crushed," they're missing a huge piece of the physics puzzle. If that logic were true, we'd all have to drive semi-trucks just to survive. But in reality, no matter how heavy your vehicle is, there's always something heavier on the road. Real safety comes from smart design, not raw mass. One of the biggest misconceptions about the Aptera is that it must lack crumple zones. But in fact, it's quite the opposite. From the pointed nose cone all the way back to the passenger area, Aptera's front-end crumple zone is nearly identical in depth to that of a Tesla Model 3, a car already known for exceptional crash safety. And when it comes to the rear, the Aptera actually has more space to absorb impact. Since it's only a two-seater, the structure behind the occupants extends further, creating a longer buffer zone that can crumple and dissipate energy before it ever reaches the cabin. That means in a rear-end collision, there's more distance between you and the point of impact, something most sedans simply don't offer. Here's another major design win: the in-wheel motors. Because Aptera's motors are built directly into the wheels, there's no traditional axle running across the front of the car. That might sound like a minor engineering quirk, but in a front-end collision, it's a huge advantage. With no axle to shove inward, there's less chance of any large mechanical component intruding into the passenger compartment. The wheels stay on the outer edge, absorbing energy externally instead of transmitting it directly into the cabin. Combine that with front airbags, a reinforced monocoque cabin, and an impact redirecting chassis, And you're looking at a design that's not only safe, but intentionally overbuilt for its weight class. Now, let's talk about what Aptera is made of, because this might be the most misunderstood aspect of all. Unlike most cars, which are built from steel or aluminum panels that bend easily, Aptera's body is constructed from forged carbon fiber composites, the same kind of material used in aerospace and Formula One race cars. Carbon composites are incredibly strong, yet flexible when needed. They can absorb and redirect energy during a crash far more effectively than standard metals. When people see shiny metal, they assume it's tough. But in reality, most car exteriors are soft enough to dent with a light door tap. Carbon composites, on the other hand, are designed to bend, flex, and rebound, keeping the passenger cell intact while dispersing crash energy across the body. This means Aptera's lightweight frame doesn't equal fragility. It equals efficiency and resilience. Aptera's unique, rounded exterior isn't just for aerodynamics, it's for safety too. Traditional cars have boxy shapes that can collapse inward under side impact. But the Aptera's sleek, curved profile behaves differently. Imagine punching a cardboard box versus punching a beach ball. The box caves in. The ball absorbs and deflects your energy outward. That's exactly how Aptera handles side impacts, by redistributing force instead of taking it head-on. This design philosophy, inspired by aircraft fuselages, makes the structure naturally resistant to intrusion without needing excessive weight or bulk. Let's address one common concern head-on. Aptera does not currently include side-mounted airbags. That's a fair point to question. While the vehicle is equipped with front airbags and a reinforced cabin structure, the decision to omit side airbags is likely a compromise between weight, cost, and efficiency. However, it's crucial to understand that side impacts, though serious, are statistically less common than front or rear collisions. And given Aptera's body shape, wider stance, and strong composite frame, the design itself acts as a passive defense against many of those side forces. No vehicle is perfect in every category, but Aptera's engineering choices prioritize the scenarios that matter most, the ones that cause the majority of injuries and fatalities. Where are the crash ratings? That's the next question people always ask. The short answer: Aptera is still finalizing its production tooling. Current prototypes don't use final production parts, so formal crash testing would be meaningless right now. Instead, they're doing what modern automakers like Tesla do, running extensive digital simulations. These high-fidelity tests allow engineers to model hundreds of collision types without destroying physical prototypes. Once Aptera's production line is fully operational, real-world crash tests are absolutely on the roadmap, and the company has publicly stated that they intend to meet or exceed standard passenger vehicle safety levels, even though they technically don't have to as an auto cycle. That voluntary commitment says a lot. They don't just want to pass safety requirements. They want to prove that lightweight and efficient can also mean incredibly strong and protective. Here's a fun fact. Aptera's internal safety cage design is inspired by Formula One cars. Formula One vehicles are made to withstand impacts at speeds most of us will never experience. Yet their drivers walk away unharmed more often than not. How? Through carbon monocoque construction, a rigid yet energy-absorbing shell that protects the driver like a capsule. Aptera uses a similar approach. The cabin acts as a protective pod, surrounded by crumple-friendly zones on the front and back that manage energy intelligently instead of just resisting it with brute force. That's real safety innovation, not just weight and steel. Here's something Aptera's CEO has mentioned that deserves more attention. The automotive safety industry itself is biased, not intentionally, but structurally. in favor of bigger vehicles. SUVs and pickup trucks aren't held to the same pedestrian safety standards as smaller sedans. Their tall front ends create massive blind spots, and their added mass makes them more dangerous to everyone else on the road. So, while people often assume big equals safe, the data tells a different story. In many cases, large vehicles are safer for their occupants, but deadlier for everyone around them. Aptera, on the other hand, was designed with both passenger and pedestrian safety in mind, balancing visibility, energy efficiency, and structural integrity. So is the Aptera safe? All evidence suggests absolutely yes. It's built with cutting-edge materials, reinforced with aerospace principles, shaped to deflect impact, and engineered with physics, not fear, in mind. Will it feel different? Definitely. But different doesn't mean dangerous. It means evolved. Once crash testing is complete, I fully expect Aptera to surprise a lot of skeptics. It's a large, intelligently built vehicle that uses innovation, not excess weight, to keep people safe. And if you think about it, that's exactly what the future of transportation should look like. Lighter, stronger, smarter, safer. At the end of the day, Aptera's massive emphasis on safety isn't about hype. It's about proving that efficiency and protection can coexist. The company's engineers didn't just design a car that looks futuristic. They designed one that rethinks what safety means in the modern era. So, the next time someone laughs off Aptera as unsafe, you'll know better. You'll know it's not just a car, it's a statement about what happens when intelligent design replaces outdated assumptions. And honestly, that's what real progress looks like.